Hello friends and welcome to Lokalama YouTube channel. My name is Natasha and I'm welcoming you to my knitting journal today. I wasn't videotaping for a while, but I was still knitting, and today I would like to share with you all my works in progress because I'm hoping on a weekend to videotape a video about my finished objects and yarn inquiries and stuff like that, but I realized that I wouldn't have enough time to show you all my works in progress. That's why I decided to make separate videos for it. And also, I would like to brag to you about my beautiful flowers that I received from two different people. They're same kind of flowers, but they're a bit different colors, and they are so beautiful. So I thought it would be appropriate to have them here for memory and to look good, that this video would look good and festive. So my first works in progress is socks that I'm knitting, colorwork socks that I'm knitting out of this yarn. It's Drops Flora. It's not exactly sock yarn, but it has wool and alpaca. It doesn't have nylon. That's why those socks maybe will be a bit more fragile, but I knitted colorwork socks out of this yarn last year, even a bit, yeah, 1.5 years ago. They were black and white, and they're really warm and they're really nice, and they're still doing good. Like there's no holes or anything like that, and I was wearing them in shoes. So the reason I started these beautiful color work socks, it's because there is a group of people who are knitting these socks together, and I decided to participate with them because they can help me if I have problems or issues with this pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's called, I'll try to pronounce it, Rujuri socks. Maybe I'm not pronouncing it correctly, so sorry. I'll try to put link below this video so you can go and download this pattern if you like it. And they like, this design is really cool, and I really like this color combination. I wouldn't choose it myself, but Vera from Warm Wool Gallery podcast, she gifted me this green mint yarn, and I think this color combination is just really beautiful, so gentle and nice. And I'm kind of working slowly on them because heel is very unusual for me in these socks. I never knitted it that way, so I'm a little bit scared that by the time I get to the heel, maybe I wouldn't be able to knit it, but I know that my friends will help me with advice, and I'm sure it will work out. But it just kind of, what I have in the back of my mind is that I'm afraid and it slows me down. So that's my project number one. Next project that I just started, it's on my needles. It's also socks, but these ones will be simple vanilla socks out of Schackenmeyer Regia, and it's a cotton cocktail, and it's summer sock yarn. It has 62% of cotton, 18 polyamide, and 10% of polyester, and colorway is 20430. I knitted before with this type of yarn. I knitted a small hat for my baby, and also for my older daughter I knitted socks, and now it's time to knit socks for myself. So I started to knit a twisted rib, and I have 62 stitches here, and I'm using Chiahu 2.5mm needles. I like those shorties. I really do enjoy knitting on them. Once I got used to them, they are my go-to needles. So these socks I'm knitting only when I'm on a playground with my kids or waiting somewhere in line, and I actually started to knit them on a playground. So I don't really knit them at home when I have time. I would prefer, if I have time and quiet moments, then I would prefer to work on more difficult projects, like that require more attention. My next project that is very close to the finish line, it's this tee that I'm knitting out of cotton yarn. This yarn thread is not same twisted, like here you have more loose parts and more tight parts. So the made body, I was holding two strands, and I was knitting on 3.5 millimeter needles. But for the sleeves, I was holding only one strand, and also I was using a 3.5 millimeter needles. And so here fabric is transparent and here is not. So because I didn't want to wear something underneath it. And it has puffy sleeves, and here I had some leftover of this beautiful yarn with sparkling plates. I'm not sure how they're called, but so I decided to add it a little bit into my sleeve, but it made a funny, like it just has a funny bend right where I have this yarn. But I hope that after washing, or maybe I'll need to steam it a little bit so it would straighten up. And one by one ribbon around it, I was knitting just on a 2.5 millimeter needles, and I finished it, closed it up with a needle so it would be nice and stretchy. So far I have body, I have two sleeves, they're very short, have two sleeves, and I was knitting it bottom up, and here on the bottom this first row with seat stitch was folding, so every time it would just fold up. So I decided to add also kind of like a small frill. I think it's called frills, right? And especially now they're in style, so I decided to add it on the bottom. And also I was knitting in holding one strand on 3.5 millimeter needles, and I used all yarn I had. Like I just had like this tiny bitsy left from I think I had about 250 grams or a bit less. I'm not sure, maybe 200 grams, because it's not very heavy yarn. And then I ran out of yarn, and I also wanted to put on the bottom this strand with sparkles. They're not beads, but whatever they're called. If somebody can write it down for me, so I'll try to remember how they're called. So, but I ran out of yarn, and I just had for half a row enough, because it's more than 400 stitches here on the bottom. And then I thought, what should I do? Because I didn't want, like, if I would open up and have enough yarn to bind off, then this reel would be too short, kind of. So I went to my stash and I found this crazy cone with this black crazy yarn, super sparkly. It's acrylic yarn with lurex, stellina. And then I decided to knit just few rows, maybe like 4 rows or 6 rows, that it will match sleeves, but also that it wouldn't curl up on the bottom. So we'll see. If 4 rows will be enough, then I'll just bind off. If I need to, maybe I'll knit 6 rows, and then I'll bind off, and hopefully it will look good. But I tried this tee on, and it's really nice. I didn't use any pattern. I was just kind of free styling when I was knitting, and just was kind of trying it on and going to my, like, depends on my measurements, right? So that was my project number 3, and my project number 4 is really nice one. So I'm knitting, this one is a honeycomb Errand sweater by Yarn Inspiration. It's a free pattern, and it's supposed to be knitted in pieces. So it has 4 pieces that you in the end have to sew together. So I'm knitting it out of Lore yarn. It's from Fiber Co, and it's 100% Can's wool. And this yarn is absolutely amazing. At least for me, I love it so much. This skein has 100 grams, and it's 250 meters, and it's 100% wool made in UK. And this yarn is actually interesting colorway because it's gray, but once in a while it has light purple, I don't know how to call it, like small pieces of light purple everywhere that makes really nice color. So, and here my problem is that I knitted back, and then a bit later I knitted front, but because it was I was more relaxed, and then I was more stressed, and it influenced my gauge very much. Never happened to me before, but here, as you can see, like I know some people, they need socks, and one sock would be bigger than the other one, or mittens, right? So, but it never happened to me before, but now it happened. And so now my front is so much smaller than the back, even though amount of stitches and needles are and yarn are the same. So now I had a problem because I didn't know, like, should I unravel front and reknit it? Should I unravel back? Like, you know, what kind of gauge will I get now? Like, I don't know, because should I unravel front and take bigger needles? You know, like, should I go half size up to full size? I didn't know what to do because I was knitting on 4.5 millimeter needles. So now I don't know, should I go 5? Should I take 5.5 millimeter needles? Will it be bigger? Will it be smaller? I don't know. So, and I was thinking, so I stopped knitting and I didn't know what to do. And then I had a solution. I just took a new ball of yarn and I decided to knit sleeves. And I decided to knit 2 sleeves at the time. So at least 2 of my sleeves, they will be same. So I will not have to reknit them. And after I'll be done with my sleeves, I'll compare them to front and to the back. And then I'll know my gauge, right? And then I'll decide I will unravel front or I will unravel back. I like back more because it's kind of more, fabric is much nicer than front because front is too tight. So hopefully, my gauge would be same like it was on the back panel. And then I'll just reknit front and we'll be done. But this process is really, really enjoyable because I'm using Knit Picks Calibu, I think they're called hardwood needles, and I have 3.5 for ribbing, and I have 4.5 millimeters for body of the sweater. And those needles, they're not varnished, but when you knit, they get polished and they're really nice. Like, and it's, I just bought 2 pairs, like just to try them, but now I want whole set because they're just amazing. And yarn is, I love this yarn. It's really brings me pleasure to knit with wooden needles and with real wool. Like, it's not rustic wool because it's not like, it's soft, and even before washing, like, it's really nice yarn. I enjoy it very much. So I don't mind unravel and reknit front or back. And then, like, I didn't have enough projects or didn't have enough on my needles, right? But I know that my tea will be, a dark blue tea will be done soon. And one of the socks I'm just knitting right on the go. So I decided that I would like to start a new project, and mainly because I need something in my robe that is missing. So while I think a year ago or a bit more, no, less, it's a bit less, I think, last summer, I got this yarn, and here it's called, it's Respect, from Woolly Dick by Lang Yarns. And this yarn is really nice. It's super soft, super squishy, super airy. It's 42% wool, 30% alpaca, and 28% of polyamide. It's a chain. And I kind of use same yarn to knit a cardigan number 6. And I use 6 millimeter needles, but I used for that a steel yarn. And it wears really well, but it's peeling and it's also slowly stretching. It's getting bigger and bigger, but it's okay for that type of cardigan is okay. But from this yarn, I would like to knit sweaters that I can wear, cardigans that I can wear at home, and maybe I should take it out. And the idea when I got this yarn was, sorry, they're not all nicely wound anymore because I'm looking at them and moving them, and because when I got it, I thought I would just knit a stripy jumper with white stripes. So I took kind of two of each color, but then I wasn't sure if I'll have enough yarn. So I went back to the store, but they didn't have those colors. But I got this dark gray, but it's a bit brownish. Like all of them, the rest of them, they're kind of gray. So I have two, three. Oh yeah, they had one more ball of this dark gray. So I grabbed this dark gray, and then I took those two brownish grayish, because I thought if I don't have enough, I can use at least same type of yarn, even if it's color a little bit off. But if I don't need them, I can use them for a hat. So, and now I'm thinking, because it's peeling and also because it's stretching. So I thought maybe I should add one strand of kid silk. It's Rico Essentials Kid Silk Mohair, and it's black color. So I thought if I would add one strand of black, it will make it more fluffy, and hopefully it would peel less and will be more soft and more cozy. But also, because it's stretching, I thought I had this cone with black wool, and I thought maybe I should add one or two strands of this wool. Ideally, I thought if I can take this wool and one strand of kid silk, it can give like a really nice top, like nice sweater, like just those two, right? Really nice and fine. So that's why I have a question, and I have a dilemma. What should I do? And because I really want this cardi to be very cozy, like almost like that would give me feeling almost like a hoodie, but it wouldn't be a hoodie, right? It would be like hand knitted sweater. So I'm thinking, or take one strand, just that yarn, and use not 5mm needles, but maybe 4mm needles, so it wouldn't stretch as much, or use maybe 5.5mm needles and hold strand double. But then I'm not sure if I'll have enough yarn for a nice cozy cardi, because I have only 9 balls, so it's 450 grams. So now I have evening to think about like which way will I go. Will I add some other types of yarns to this cardigan to make it warmer and thicker and more comfier? Or will I just take 2 strands of this yarn, but then maybe cardi will be shorter? Or take 1 strand and smaller needles? So that's a decision I have to make. If you have any suggestions, please write down in the comments, because I'm not sure if I'll start this project today or not, and if I start it in the next few days, and I don't think I will need that much, that if you give me a good idea or good advice, maybe I'll just unravel it and take somebody's idea, because yeah, I just want a nice cozy cardigan for home. So tell me what you think, please. That's it for today. So I was so happy to share with you my projects. I hope it would inspire some of you or give you any ideas. That's why I like to watch other knitters videos, because it inspires me and gives me ideas what people are knitting, what they're working on. So if you have few minutes, please leave me in comments. Tell me what you're knitting on, like what kind of yarn. Is it wool? Is it silk? Did you start already summer knits, or are you still working on winter stuff? Like I'll start this cardi. It wouldn't be really summery, but it's really nice in summer when it's like cold evenings to have something to throw over your shoulders, right? Um, that's it for today. If you like my channel, please subscribe, put thumbs up, and see you soon.